Yo, people, what's good? It's your boy Keon, and we're back. We're back, and I thought I'd do something different. You lot see me doing the streams all the time. What can I do that's different? I know a lot of people have been watching Mr. Beast, the Beast games on Prime and YouTube at the moment. And I don't know if you're like me, I was absolutely hooked from the first episode. I mean, everyone knows Mr. Beast gives away millions, but in this show, he's giving away 5 million. And then I guess I can say it now because it's out. He flips it to 10 million. 10 million. I was kind of fascinated about the whole show, the spectrum of it, how many people was involved. And after watching the show, I reached out to a few of the contestants and let me just find out if anyone has got any feedback, anyone can tell me something that maybe we don't know about the show. I reached out to a few and then I got hold of someone. Right now, he's been villainized and him and his brother have been villainized on all the platforms from what they've done on the show. But we're going to get into it and we're going to find the real deep, dark secrets and find out if he's really a villain or not. No more messing around. Let me introduce my boy to the stream right now. Yeah, this is number 406, Beast Games contestant 2025, historical. Man like Karim. What you saying, my bro?
What's up, Keon? What's up, man? So good to be here, man. Ridiculous. What an experience it was with Beast Games and dude, the fallout was crazy, but we'll get into all that.
We get into all that in it. Yeah. So what, like a few? Well, it's just finished now. So like, let's say 2 months ago, no, you knew that this was all gonna happen, and you're just waiting, and now it's all out. Everyone's seen everything, and it must be
Yeah,
crazy.
kind of wild. I mean, after filming episode three, I remember I was talking with some producers or whatnot, and just the reactions that they were giving my brother and I.
Mhm.
Like we knew it was going to be a fairly important part of the show. Like they were going to use it, right? They were going to rely on it. We didn't realize it was going to be
What it was.
this much, yeah, and this much and this big. And I guess we were villains number one of Beast Games, I guess, because I mean later on there's other people that are villainized, but we were the OG villains,
Yeah, you was.
and it was kind of funny actually. So I didn't I when we went to film, I wasn't dating my girlfriend, but I am now,
Mhm.
and I didn't tell her about anything. I just told her I was, we were on the show and like we expected it to be episode three, and I was like, episode three should be fun, right? So we see episode one, we see episode two. If there's a little, if I pop up here or there, I'm like, oh my god, it's me. And then episode three comes out, and I remember when it came
Wait,
out,
wait, 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 wait. So you're watching. The series has started. You're with your girl at the time, and you've not told her you're. Oh my god, how are you holding that in? That's crazy. That's that is
she
crazy.
kept asking because I would drop little hints, stuff like that, like not wanting to, you know what I mean, un without purpose, what's the word ever, you know what I
Yeah, yeah,
mean.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I would say something, she's like, what's going to happen, what's going on, and I'm like, you'll see. She's like, why won't you tell me? I'm like, I promise, you just have to enjoy it. I don't want to say anything, you just have to enjoy it, because again, I don't know how it's going to come out. Maybe it's good, maybe it's bad. I mean, it was never going to be good. It was probably going to be bad. It was bad or worse. So yeah, no, I we stayed up till midnight and I watched it, and it was one of the best things ever because it was so much fun watching her. Well, it was fun me watching it for the first time because that was my first time watching it, but then also
Yeah,
like looking at her reaction watching it, and oh my goodness,
yeah, that's
what a
something.
what a trip.
I just want to know from your side, how did you hear about the show? Like, how did you get? Because if I seen an advert to get on a Mr. B show in England, trust me, I'm jumping at it straight away. So how does it work out there? Are these adverts easily attainable? What?
So yeah, I'm obviously not located in the UK. I'm based out of Las Vegas, Nevada, and so it's actually a funny story how I got on the show. So
Mhm.
my brother's friend was the one that I initially auditioned or applied, I guess you can say. And I think what it does is they have like stuff on Instagram and stuff like that that'll come out, just casting stuff. And I guess he applied and encouraged my brother to apply. And then my brother applied. And after the casting closed, he was like, "Hey, by the way, I applied for Mr. Beast." And I was like, "What the heck, man? Why didn't you tell me
Why
before? What
didn't
if I
bring me
wanted to
in?
be on, man?" Yeah, what the heck, right? So casting closed. They started going through their process. My brother's like, "Hey, I'm interviewing, blah 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 blah. Hey, I'm waitlister." And I was like, "That's so cool. That's so much fun, right?"
Right?
One random day in July, right? Obviously, episode zero was filmed in Vegas. So one random day in July,
This
he
was the
calls me up.
for anyone that's not clued up. Even though it was 1,000 people, it was actually a 2,000 people competition. The first preliminary episode, the first episode is on YouTube, and that's where it was in Vegas, right? Am I right by saying that, Karim?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. Yeah. So he calls me up on one random day in July, and I'm sitting in my barber's chair, right? I'm getting my hair cut,
Mhm.
and it's like 9 a.m. And he calls me up, and he's like, "Hey, do you want to be on Beast Games?" And then I was like, yeah. What kind of question is that?
Yeah, of
You know?
course.
Yeah. So he's like, okay, cool. This lady's gonna call you. I was like, okay, cool. So he hangs up 2 minutes later. This lady calls me back. And this, mind you, my barber is there doing my hair this entire
This is
time.
crazy.
And she calls me up and she's like, hey, can you be at this location at 12? This is like 4 hours later at 12. And I was just like, yeah, what's going on? And she's like, well, I mean, your brother's probably already told you, but we're filming, blah, 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 blah. There's no guarantee that you're going to be on this film, on this show. But if you get here in time, you're waitlisted. But if you get here in time, you'll probably make it. And I was just like, okay, cool. So she says, you got to wear all black. You got to do this. You got to do that. And I was like, okay, cool. Anything else I got to bring? Yeah, like 3 or 4 days worth of clothes. And I was like, what the heck? I got to up and drop my life for 3, 4 days and do
Mid
this. And
haircut.
obviously, yeah, made haircut. And obviously, we don't have any phones or anything like that. Thank goodness I got that haircut because we got to be on camera. But yeah, no, I make it work. Life just worked itself out at that point, and I made it work. And I got there 3, 4 hours later, and we got on. And I mean, I guess the rest is history because we went from 2,000 to 1,000, and
Mm-hmm.
from a
Where was it?
thousand, I made it.
Where was it filmed in
it
Vegas? Where I've been to Vegas. I've actually lived out there for about a month and a half. But whereabouts was it filmed?
It was at the Raiders Stadium, the football team, the American football team.
Oh yeah, yeah. Okay, 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 okay.
Yeah, actual filming took place at the
The Raiders.
Raider Stadium, which
Sick.
was interesting. It was a cool experience. I mean, it was a lot of people, and I remember meeting a lot of people that I actually ended up continuously being friends with and whatnot throughout part of the show, and they made
Mhm.
it pretty far in the show. So it's kind of cool to think back all the way back then of people that you met and how far they made it. And it's kind of crazy that not only did I beat 1,000 other people, I beat like made it to the top 50, and I
Crazy.
just by pure coincidence, by pure luck. But it kind of relates to something that I've told myself, and I was kind of on this mission as a part of my life. I'm on a mission to never say no, and it's a big part of my life. So if it includes an adventure, if I go out and do something fun and do something crazy and do something wild, the answer is never no. And if I need to make it happen, I make it happen. So it was one of those things that you just
Now you've got
got
to
the
do that.
call and I said he got the call and I said I'm gonna go do it, and it's something I'm gonna do while I'm young until I get married and have kids and get a
I
little
would,
bit older. You know what I mean? Just go out and enjoy life now.
yeah, of course, of course. And even when you're
Yeah,
married and have kids, you might not be able to do stuff as flippant, but you can still, live your life. And I think that's a really good sentiment for people to just live by and just, if you've got a chance, take it. If it's not gonna,
exactly.
yeah, yeah, and do something with it.
We live our life one time, and we don't live to work. We don't work to live. We live to work.
Live to work,
Wait,
yeah.
yeah, we don't live to work. We work to live. That's how it goes.
That's it. That's
And
it.
yeah, you just gotta enjoy your life, and yeah.
Yeah, and do it. I was gonna ask, have you ever done anything with your brother? Let's say this is a big brotherly bond kind of story for the chapter of um your brotherly story. Have you done anything else in life, like any big things together?
Um, yes and no. So I mean, we spent the first 20 years, maybe, I don't know, maybe 19 years, 18, 19 years living in the same bedroom together. I don't know, doesn't matter.
Hmm. Hmm.
But we spent a large period of time just living in the same bedroom together growing up, right? So up until he was 16 years old and I was maybe 19, 20, 21, around that age, we shared a room together. So I mean, we grew up together the entire time. But when we went on this show, he was barely 19, right?
Hmm.
And I think this was like the first time that we had like a big adventure like this, but as adults, right? So we'd had adventures before as kids, but a lot of times it was like with family and stuff like that. But
Okay.
this was the first time as adults that we had the adventure, and we kind of went in and we played two separate games, right? So all the way throughout Vegas, episode 0, all the way up until maybe like episode 3, we really didn't interact with each other. We said we're going to play two separate games, right?
All
If we
right.
both make it through, great. If we don't both make it through, whatever. So we
Was that
kind of
tactical? Just because that Mr. Beast always says, "Oh, we're gonna put two guys together, two brothers, two friends together," kind of vibe.
Exactly, exactly. And we knew we were brothers, obviously. We knew we
Yeah,
could
yeah.
trust each other.
Mhm.
We just didn't want, there was a lot of other siblings. We weren't the only set of siblings, right? There's a lot of married couples and whatnot. But we just kind of wanted to kind of play it on the DL and just play as an individual. And, if I go out and build alliances and he goes out and build alliances, we can kind of bring them together later
Yeah,
on if
yeah.
need be.
It's smart. It's
Uh,
smart.
but it got to a point where everybody in my brother's alliance was basically out and he kind of needed to join my alliance, I guess you can say, or my people, and that's kind of what happened around the filming of episode 3. Was
Yeah.
he was just kind of being introduced to my people, and people were just finding out that we're siblings, and it's a once in a lifetime opportunity that I don't think very very many people are gonna get. And I mean, we traveled all over the world. We went to Toronto to film, we went to Panama to film, and it was
Oh,
such a cool experience. And there's other stuff that we've done outside of it that I really can't share right now because
okay.
it's not out yet. But I can say that Mr. Beast was not the end of our persona on online, I guess you can say. It's not the last thing we filmed. We've filmed stuff since then.
Okay. Yeah. I seen a lot of that's one great thing that Mr. Beast really good at is let's not state the obvious, he's good at content. So there's a lot of like add-on little you've seen the 100,000 thing on YouTube, like they were all the
Mm-hmm.
eliminated players, and then he's got a whole other
Mm-hmm.
video of that, no, not 100, that 500,000, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Like so he's really good at that, so I'm not surprised if you've not filmed more stuff and you've got little ideas
Yeah.
and I'm looking forward, I'm sure people
Yeah.
watching are looking forward to seeing this. A couple of questions that I just want to
Sure.
ask. So between Vegas and the first proper episode, how long's that once you've got through the 1,000?
Maybe about 3 4 weeks or so, I
So
would
about
say.
a month later you've flown back to where you flown to then?
We flew out to Toronto, which actually funny story. I didn't have my passport until then. So I get out of Vegas, right? We're done filming in Vegas and we go home and they're like, yeah, by the way, you're gonna need your passport. And I don't get my passport until like 3 days before I fly out. So it was
Oh my.
absolutely crazy. Yeah.
So you managed
Yeah,
to get
but it
there and
was,
fly to front Toronto.
thank goodness, yeah. So it was about 3 4 weeks or so.
And then there he's just what? Where's this set? Where's this Toronto set? Is this a field that he's kind of done himself and put the city in, or is he?
Yeah, so I don't know exactly what part of Toronto it was at.
It's just in
I
some
would
open land.
I would say so. It wasn't an airport, like a airport that's not being used anymore.
Right.
So they used a lot of like the hangars for sets. So like episode 1, that was just like a set that's in a hangar,
Oh wow.
right? So all the pillars. Episode 3 with all the red cubes, that's a different hangar. And then obviously like the city at that point was just like I think it was on the runway. It was actually really cool because flying back from Panama, we flew over the city. It was really really
Oh
cool. It was a cool
wow.
thing. Yeah, so we got to see it from on top.
Oh, that's crazy. That is
Yeah.
crazy. I wrote some questions down. I just thought let me try and do something a bit more professional than just
Sure, sure.
wing
Quick
it.
fire, go.
Yeah, so a couple questions. All right, yeah, let's quick fire some. Okay, so like while filming on the show, how much money could you have maximized and taken? For example, you could have taken up to 100,000 on that first episode and eliminated 7 people. But was there
Sure.
any other opportunities along the way that you could have made some money?
So for me, there was only the two, realistically speaking. There was the one on episode 1 where you could have taken the bribe and eliminated kind of your whole row.
Yep.
And then on episode 6, when I get out, there was that opportunity that you saw that, Mr. Beast, Jimmy brought money out and said, hey, take $50,000 and run the question back, right?
Ah, yeah, of course, of
Uh,
course, of course, of
Correct.
course.
Yes. So technically, that's an opportunity. But here's kind of the crazy thing. So I mean, people talk about it and they're like, blah, 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 blah. I read Reddit all the time. I'm on Twitter X all the time, right? So like I see these like theories. I don't really respond to anything.
Mhm.
But it's actually very very interesting because when we go and film, right? So before Jimmy goes on camera and explains the rules to the show, there's producers that will come out, there's people from Amazon and whatnot that will come out and just kind of go through the details. So they'll explain what we're gonna do and then answer any of our questions, right?
Mhm.
So like there's specific stuff that they're like, well, why the heck didn't they do this? Why, in the cubes, why didn't people ask for money? Well, that's one thing that they said, we can't take anything that we ask for in there, right? So then obviously you can't take money with you.
Right, so you couldn't take anything out because that's the first thing I thought. I thought, all right, okay. They did try that on the other episode that's on YouTube where with the 500,000 they actually start asking for like
Yeah.
500,000 immunity and all this stuff. And nah, no, I
Yeah,
just
no, they wouldn't let us, and um, yeah. So they come out and they say we signed the paperwork and everything. and they say, okay, after the fourth question,
Hmm.
or by the fourth question, I can't remember exactly how they said it, but by the fourth question, there will be a twist in the game. They didn't really tell us what it is, right? But then you start reading through, and then it explains in the paperwork that they give us in the details that by the fifth question, you can, if you answer the question right, you can either choose to eliminate the person in front of you or
Oh, right.
take a
Okay.
bribe and do another question, and it was unlimited. So, but they specified after the fourth question, which is really really interesting because the fourth person that was chosen was Akira, the guy that got me out, right? But
Ah.
my brother was number two,
Hmm.
and number three it was player 830 who went on and you know made a lot further in the show. But
Yeah.
she at that point was a part of our. So she was the person I picked for my helicopter, and we stayed in the same cabana. Our whole group stayed in the same cabana
Oh,
in Panama and
let's
whatnot.
just flip that back quickly. Sorry.
Yeah,
So as much as your main thing for me, obviously it was 10 episodes. Your main thing for me was in the red boxes, right? And then afterwards
yeah,
with the question and the general knowledge thing.
yep.
But what you won a helicopter,
So no, I didn't. I didn't win a
or
helicopter.
you were given a
I
ticket to give to someone.
you I was given a ticket to get to the island, and then I was given five more tickets to pick five other people to bring to the island with me. So we were on the first helicopter out
And
of the
how
city.
did you win that first ticket? If you mind.
Well, Jimmy brought out a golden box and said first person to touch, and then I touched the box. Yeah.
Brought you. We'll go to whoever touches it first. Oh, okay. I didn't even finish explaining it, but
Are you kidding?
I was gonna say, and once you touch it, you can't take that decision back. What do you guys think is in here? $1. Whatever is in here, it is final. It's a ticket to the island! There's a ticket to the island!
406 just received the first of many tickets to the $1.8 million private island.
I'm just gonna play a quick recap, people, of this. Let's say infamous part of the show, meaning it's something that has got a lot of attention, but it's been edited in a way which is villainous. It's sick. We'll check it. Right, people. You got to understand, people. Yeah, there's three people in the box. Yeah, this is and you might think, yeah, this is just a game show. It's not when you've been watching for so long. This is for 5 mil. This is life changing. Every move is like, so you're in the box, and I'm right by guessing this is your friend, isn't it? This is actually your friend. So you're gonna have to do your friend wrong.
Correct, correct. Yeah, Maddie. Yep.
Maddie. And what's happening? What's happening? I'm gonna have to keep speaking so you can see my camera. So what's happening in here is they're gonna have to play a game where one of them has to go out. Sorry, one thing you got to
Yeah.
think, you could have gone out, bro. You could have gone then. You was risking it.
You said Maddie and I were friends, right? And it's as much as friends can be at that part of the show, but we spent, maybe a week together or so. And
Mhm.
when you've gone through some emotionally traumatic parts, not in your life, but at that part, you grow closer and grow bonder. So
Of
she was
course.
kind of part of our group, right? So I'm not going in with an absolute stranger. I know who she is. I know her husband's name. I know her kid's name. You know what I mean? So I've gotten to know a part of her life. She's not as close to my brother, right? So we get chained up. We get taken out of the city. We're trying to figure everything out. We get taken into these cubes. Rules aren't explained yet.
Mhm.
But before the rules are even explained, she's like, but you can figure it out. You know what I mean? You can put two and two together.
Mhm.
She tells me, she says, I'm not going to play a game. One of you two is going to have to self-sacrifice for the other.
Right.
So she's declaring war essentially,
And that's just
which
not
is
ignorant. Yeah.
which is honestly a smart move. Like, don't get me wrong.
But I think you're
You know,
fighting
I
fire with you two. If I was in that position, I'm trying to think. If I was in that, and I see two brothers, I know I'm outnumbered. I have to. Oh, what would you do in that position, bro?
listen. Here's the one thing I would have done differently is I would have waited. She explained herself before the rules were explained, and she kind of played her cards out. I get where she was coming, but I would have waited a little bit, understood the situation, maybe talked to them a little bit more, see what they were going to do, and then do the same thing. Because I mean, if you're with two brothers and you know them and you feel like you can guarantee that one of them will self-sacrifice, do it.
Yeah.
Problem is, the problem is she picked the two most stubborn to play that game with. Because it was like, because up until that point, we had no, like, we were going to play a fair game, right? Whatever game comes out, whatever happens. Okay, cool. It is what it is.
Yeah.
But up until that point, once she said that, I kind of look at him, and then he kind of looks at me, and then we kind of have this brotherly telepathy thing going on, and then we're like, yeah, no, it's nah. Like we're either gonna go down fighting, or we're gonna get her to play a game. Essentially, is what
So
it was.
you was prepared to just lock it off, all of you then?
That's it. That's it. Like I'm not gonna get strong armed. I'm not gonna get my arm twisted behind my back like that. And if it means that I go home, I played the
That's
way
it
that
then.
I
Yeah.
feel is the
What
best.
if it had come to
I'm
that last very second? If she was like, nope, 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 you wouldn't have just gone, right, I'm gonna save my brother. Do it.
nope, nope.
Crazy.
That would
That's
that would have been That would have been it. That would have been it.
yeah.
Just on principle. Just
Yeah.
fighting on over principle. You know what I mean?
I think there was other people in the show that did that. I mean, the guy who lost a fair game of throwing it in the bucket and then just was like, you know what, I'm not gonna adhere to this. I think that's law because you've already agreed to do something. You know, like if you hadn't done it,
Yeah.
yeah, I didn't think that was right, man. What he did.
That's different. And there's other, like, they don't show it, but there's other stories exactly in a similar situation like ours where it doesn't necessarily mean they're brothers or whatever, but they're friends. Like there's an odd man out. So there's like two friends and a stranger, and the stranger does the same thing. And myself and my brother, we were part of a group of 6, right? So in the cube, it was myself, my brother, and Maddie, and then in another cube, there's 3 other people. Ellie, the girl that I bring on the helicopter with me, Bobby, and the third girl strong arms Ellie and Bobby against each other, and Bobby kind of sacrifices himself to make sure Ellie goes through. So we're not the only story of that happening.
Yeah.
We just happen to be the one that was the craziest on TV, and
I think it played the part. Everything about it being just who it was, you could visually see it was older brother, bigger brother. You could see it all there, and it was a girl, 2 guys. It was just perfect for content. Really.
It was good TV. It was good TV for sure.
Yeah,
it was good content, good TV for sure. And oh my goodness, dude! Like I said, I remember we came out of that. So I want to backtrack, and then I'll come to this. So prior to us drawing a game, right? So we spent a long time. I spent 3 hours trying to convince her to play a game. Part of it is like, hey, are we going to play a game? Even at that point, what game would we play? And I was like, I don't know. Maybe we draw cards. She's like, oh, okay, that'd be cool. And as soon as like I got like, I can't remember if it was her or I, but one of us was like, yeah, we'll draw cards. She agreed to a little bit. You know what I mean? I immediately picked up the damn phone, and I was just like, get me a deck of cards with Jimmy here now. And the idea was just like, just put her in front of the fire. Like I haven't convinced her, but just put her in front of the fire. Because if you got cameras out and you get Jimmy out and you're like, maybe she'll do it at that point. You know what I mean? So yeah, it was just like, get her a deck of cards. And then we were like kind of discussing, and she's like, oh, okay, well, let's discuss rules. Even what would an ace be? And I was like, she was like, no, an ace is going to be like the lowest card. In my head, I'm like,
ace is the highest.
Ace is the highest, because I play poker, right? And I was like, ace is the high, nothing crazy, just like with friends. And I was like, ace is the highest. But okay, that's not my battle to fight right now.
I just clocked as well.
Yes. And I was just like, this isn't my battle to fight right now. I'm not going to worry about that, right? So in that situation, when me or my brother, unless he got an ace, me or my brother would have been out, right? Okay, cool. We kill the cards. There's another one. It's not shown on camera. We draw cards again. We kill the game. Same thing. I have a lower card than her, right? And I'm using this as like, hey, C, you would have won. Hey, C, you would have won.
So you just...
We go, use it. The game's dead. That game's dead, right? And it's out the window. But use it to your advantage. So she comes back in, or she comes in, we finally draw the cards and everything, and we go and flip the cards. And I have a king, and she has an ace.
Under her rules, it's lower.
Yes. Yes. When normally she would have won. And then that's why when I saw that, you see me and I crouched down and my head is in my hand. I was just like, what the fuck just happened? You know what I mean? I was just like, and then I hear she goes over, I hear her click her handcuffs, and I was just like,
I think we should quickly watch that moment.
Sure. And I'm like, what the heck just happened? You know what I mean? And I'm absolutely in shock, and I'm so ecstatic and so giddy. It's like, it's a bad time because we lost a lot of people, and this is a tough challenge. But like, we just pulled off something absolutely crazy. And like I said, we came out and there's producers behind the camera and stuff like that. And there's always producers behind the camera, but like, you can tell by their energy that they're like, this is a crazy moment. And during the entire time while we're in the cubes, we had these little doors on the sides that would kind of open and people would come in with cameras, and they were just constantly opening, closing. So there was constant cameras on it. So we just, like I said, we just knew that it was
they were interested.
Absolutely crazy moment. Yeah.
We only seen 45 minutes of a week, bro. Like, you're in there for 7 days. What's going on in the other 7 days?
Yeah. So, I mean, I'll tell you this, right? So episode 1 took about 4 days to film.
Took 4 days.
Well, you got to think about it like this, man. So we're not in the city, right? So we're in hotels, and there's 1,000 people. So then they got to bus. They got to get 1,000 people out of the hotel rooms and get them dressed, and then they got to bus them over to the spot, and then they got to get them off the bus, and then they got to run them through security, and then they got to line everybody up, and then get everybody on, and then you know what I mean. And in between every single time, there's an opportunity. There's bathrooms, and there's food, and there's people that are coming out with snacks and water refills. So just like that first section where they bribe, like they send out that $1 million and like whoever hits it, that was literally just a day of filming. And it's not a full day.
Wow.
We're probably filming like a total of 4 to 6 hours. But like it's all day, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
episode
yeah.
1 took a day. Episode 2 took a day. Episode 3 took a day, and the rest of it where I touched the golden cube, that was a different day. Right. And then episode 4 took like 3 days, right? So it's like up until this point, we've been filming for maybe a week and a half, 2 weeks almost before we even get to the island, right? The island by itself, like we got to travel out to the island, and there's
I heard
three,
that you
4
had
days
to.
of
I heard
filming.
you had to stay on the island and wait for other people to get on the island.
What do you mean?
Like, when you was on the island, right? When you got on the
So
helicopter.
when I got on the helicopter,
How long
this
were
is
you on
movie
there? How long were you on there
Hel-
in the island on your own?
I wasn't. So the
Oh,
helicopter flew us out like 5 minutes away, and then we got bused to a hotel in Toronto.
and waited
So we
there.
stayed, yeah. So we stayed in Toronto and on a hotel. And we were sequestered, so no phones, no TV, no nothing. Like we literally just sat in our hotel rooms pretty much all day. Went down for breakfast, lunch, and dinner type of ordeal, and then they had like some games and stuff like that for us. So we couldn't communicate with anybody. It was just us by ourselves. We were in there for about 3-4 days until everybody came in, and then they chartered us a plane, flew us all the way out to Panama. And then
Ah,
when we were out in Panama, then we got bused to a hotel for a night, and then we got bused again, and then there was a ferry. There was a whole bunch of stuff to get us out. Like that's a whole day, you know what I mean? That's a whole day of transportation by itself, not if not 2 days of transportation. So there's parts that, when we're filming that first episode, we don't really get to see Jimmy, but it's like Jimmy and the boys, you know what I mean? But they're around. Anytime we're at a point where they're filming, like I said, that first 15 minutes took about 4-6 hours. They're around. And there's situations before at the beginning, Jimmy wouldn't really do anything. And then as we got later on down to like the top 50, Jimmy would just come out and hang out with us. The boys would come out and just hang out with us. And I mean, we played a lot of like games like Werewolf and stuff like that, like with the group. So like Carl would come out and play all the time. Chandler would come out and play. And yeah, they had a soccer field. Those boys like to play football and yeah, no, it was a cool
wicked.
experience because you got to hang out with them and whatnot. So it's like like I said, I've done stuff outside of Beast games since then. So it's like every time you go see them, it's just like it's really cool because it's like these are people that you know and you're chill with. And
That's dope. How long have you known
yeah,
about Mr. Beast for? Did you used to watch his content before?
dude, I was subscribed since like early days, like
Wicked.
2016, 2017. Like
I want to get on some sort of one of his shows, but now I know about the castings and stuff and
yeah,
the
yeah,
Instagram posts. I'm going to keep my eye out for them.
yeah,
And I think
yeah,
if I get his attention somehow, and and I say, look, I'm from the UK, I'll fly out to one of his shows. I'm sure
yeah,
his team, maybe not him, but his team would say, yeah, well, there's an application. Feel free to fill it
yeah.
out. But yeah, man.
Absolutely. I mean, definitely. This goes out to anybody as well. Just I had heard so many stories of people applying years ago and then just getting called out for Beast Games. And they hadn't applied for like 3-4 years, so they keep a catalog of everybody.
Of course,
You never know.
of course. Lastly, I just want to ask you, there's rumors of a series 2, People are tweeting. I'm seeing contestants saying, oh, but I'll see you next for the series 2. I'll see you for this. They're tweeting it. So is the rumors there, or don't you know? Or can you not say?
Um,
They might
all
be.
I can, all I can say is Beast Games is the best not unscripted game show Amazon Prime has ever produced. And when you have a game show that's the best,
Yeah, it's
I
common
can't,
sense. Yeah.
that's as much as I can say. You know what I mean?
I think that's perfectly put, man. And
I
if
would say if anybody's out there and is interested in season 2, if it happens or not, start planning your script right now. Start getting that video prepared and kind of plan that script out. And yeah, I would definitely
okay,
do that.
yeah, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna be in touch with you, and I'm gonna keep you posted on my application. You never know if you decide to to if there is a series 2 and if you decide to go back, you never know, man. We might be in the B City together one day, bro.
Maybe.
You get me? But if we go in a box here, we'll arrange it now. They're
I got
going
you.
out.
I got
They're
you.
going out.
We'll go together.
I trust me. Well, Kareem, man, I want to thank you, my brother. I want to thanks for your time and just giving us an insight, man, to how things are out there, man.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's an absolute pleasure coming on, and yeah, I mean, I'll once you post and everything, I'll be on your YouTube comments. So if anybody has any questions that Keon didn't ask today and you're interested, type them in the comments, and I'll answer them out.
Definitely. I give my regards to your brother as well. Tell him I said
I
what's
will
up.
for sure, for
But
sure.
Kareem, man, God bless you, my bro, and I'll speak to you soon.
All right, take care, brother.